Hi, I'm Mindy Price, and I'm thrilled that you're joining me for this summer session of social psychology. In this introductory video, I'll be talking about my philosophy for the structure of the course, how I'm using videos and readings, and finally, I'm going to tell you exactly how to get an A. To be clear, I'm not reading the syllabus to you in this video. You can do that on your own. After looking at a lot of online course structures, I've decided that the 50-minute posted lecture and quiz format isn't really effective for keeping a student's attention. So I've designed this course so you have active learning activities while you're actually reading the text. Those are programmed as the interactive parts in Revel. And also shorter videos designed to keep your attention. Some of the videos are me talking, but I've also asked some other instructors to contribute a video about their favorite topics. Some are videos that I show in my in-person class to help illustrate a concept. So every year I ask my students what they would change about the course, and then I tweak the class setup based on their feedback. So due to feedback when I taught this before, I've reformatted the lectures to be shorter videos, totally got rid of tests, and included more tangible activities in addition to multiple choice assessments. So you'll notice that there are no tests, but instead a series of quizzes. Quizzes are generally worth less than the tests and include less content. Things tend to go really fast in the summer, so I didn't really feel like it was worth it to have a few stressful exams, but instead to do a series of lower stakes quizzes. It makes every assessment a little bit lower stakes, and I hope it's a little bit more manageable. Social psych is one of those subjects that is fascinating for its own sake, and my hope is that your reading will be driven by interest and curiosity rather than just cramming for the exam. So I do try to be really approachable to my students, which is even harder in an online class. So if at any time you have questions or concerns or just want to talk about social psychology, please send me an email or meet me in office hours. My office hours are in the basement of the psychology building at Tech, but I can also do virtual office hours via Skype, FaceTime, Google Hangout, whatever. My in-person office hours are on the syllabus, but I also prefer a heads up if you're coming. I just want to make sure I don't have a ton of students piled on top of each other. Also, a quick note about emails. I do promise to get back to you with an email within 24 hours. It drives me nuts when a professor doesn't get back to me in a reasonable amount of time, so I really work hard to avoid this for my students. If you haven't heard from me after 24 hours, please feel free to email me again or try your email through Blackboard. To avoid the spam filters, please use your TTU email address when you're emailing me. Now for the part of this video that you've been waiting for, how to get an A. You may want to write this down. So step one is to keep track of the syllabus. I've stuff scheduled every week, and during the summer, this goes really fast because we have to cover as much content as we would in a longer semester. Step two is to read the book. I don't like to be redundant between what you read and what you're watching. I'm sure that everyone has taken an in-person class before and has noticed that sometimes the instructor just lectures over exactly what's in the book. So basically you can either choose to go to lecture or just read the book on your own. I don't really see the point in that, so my videos are extensions of the content or clarifying concepts. Step three is to watch the lectures. Research shows that people can only pay attention to things for a relatively short amount of time, so I did make several shorter videos, but they are important and they should come up at some point during your quizzes. So take notes. That was step four. Take notes. I designed this to be as close to a lecture style class as possible, and you can absolutely use your notes when it comes time for the test. So if you want to know about more effective ways to take notes for this and other classes, please see the resources I posted on Blackboard. So now, let's take a short trip down memory lane for a second. In my first online class, I prepared for the class by reading the book once and then listening to the lectures while I scrolled through thousands of recipes that I'll never make on Pinterest. And then when it came time for the test, I thought I was prepared. After all, I sort of understand the material, I'm familiar with it, I recognize some words, so I thought I could just sort of jump back and forth between the book and the lecture during the test to find the right answer. Well, I didn't do well on that test, and I promise that strategy won't work for you on these tests. Take good notes and study them before you take the chapter quiz. I would study flashcards or make really well-organized notes so that you know where everything is really quickly. Don't plan to Google anything or look stuff up in the lecture or in the book. So please prepare for the quizzes as you would an in-person class. Like study your notes and plan not to use them when you start the test, but obviously you can use them if you get stuck. I have learning objectives posted in each chapter, and the test should go well if you can do the learning objectives. Also, just as a note, if you see me out and around, please feel free to say hi. I love to meet my students, and sometimes it's hard to feel connected with an online class. But also don't feel pressured to do so. I once ran into a professor in the grocery store with my mom, and it was super uncomfortable. So I like to give students the opportunity to choose if they want to interact with me outside of class. I also plan to check in a lot over the course of the class, meaning I might email you individually to check in or get feedback at some point. Please don't think I'm singling you out. It's just one of my strategies for trying to make sure that students feel involved and can ask questions. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm sure we're going to have a great semester. Thanks.